Welcome back to Exotic Car Play Place, everybody. Thanks for joining it again. Today, hey, guess what? 3 vehicles that depreciate harder than a stock market crash. We're going to review those 3 and explain why that is. Let's get rolling now. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Mark with Exotic Car Play Place. And today, so the first car on our list for cars that will rob you blind, steal your firstborn, and sap every penny out of your bank account is the wonderful, famous, or infamous 7 Series BMW, right here, like this, for example. These suffer massive depreciation, largely because of the history of these cars. Now, they're very expensive to maintain, that's a huge part of it, and the fact that they have every single feature under the book as an option makes them very expensive when they start to fail. So with some of the earlier cars, they had problems with the electric water pumps and leaking. There's sometimes smell of burning oil. You'd have engine leaks. Now, of course, some of these later models with the N63, that's the twin turbo V8 engine, like you'll find in this one, because this is a 750. That N63 now has been a real problem because there are known issues with these engines consuming oil because of the hot V in the engine. In 2014, 2015, with some of the cars, with stalling issues, burning oil, and the like. Lots of different issues associated with reliability. Not to say that they're terribly unreliable, it's just that when they fail, and they do, they will get very, very expensive. And a big part of the depreciation on these cars is the fact that people are scared to get into one of these, particularly used. After warranty is up, there's a real fear for expensive repairs associated with them. Any of these 7 Series cars are packaged heavily with options. Now, not only that, you have cars with the earlier cars with the interior trim peeling away. And back in 2009, version of this car was about $80,300. And now today, you can find those cars for about 10 grand all day long. That yields you a 15% retention value after 10 years. And then how about a 2014, which is only 5 years old, which is again the older version of this, retailed for about $88,000, and now can be had for a mere 20 grand, yielding a brutal 23% retention value. That is a very hard pill to swallow, and therefore the BMW 7 Series is easily one of the hardest depreciating BMWs ever. And the next car on their list for the worst depreciating cars in the BMW's lineup is the 5 Series. Here we have a 550 and there we have a 540. The 550 that we have here has the wonderful twin turbo V8, which again, as we spoke previously in the 7 Series, is the same engine that has the hot V. Turbos mounted in the V of the engine creates excess wear and tear, burns at seals, burns at gaskets, and creates excess burning of oil. Early oil consumption is highly noted on any of the 50 Series cars. Lots of power, but there are issues with oil consumption, timing belt as well, and the regular gambit. So they're extremely fun to drive, but they definitely come with their issues. Now the 540, on the other hand, is the Turbo 6. This is the latest and greatest, as the B58 3-liter turbocharged 6-cylinder engine. Even though it's a slightly reduced in terms of power from the 550, this is likely going to be a more dependable setup for years to come. And ultimately, because it's a 5 Series car, either way, they are chock full of electronic features. And that essentially will potentially have breakdowns down the road. And then when we compare it to cars that were 5 years old, like in 2014, and 10 years old back in 2009, troubles start to show, the trends start to show, and people get scared to buy these cars out of warranty because of electronic issues and failures that are likely going to happen and cost you huge amounts of money. And people are scared to buy these used. So some issues in some of the early cars, you had issues with leaking coolant, water pumps, thermostats, burning oil, and oil consumption in general. With some of the cars, injectors were a problem, particularly in the Turbo 6s, the earlier generation with the N54 or N55 engines. Sometimes there was fuel pump, high pressure fuel pump issues or injector problems causing dangerous conditions or stalling out randomly. And so we can run some comparisons. Let's talk about a 2009 model year, 550. Just as we see here, this is the latest 550. Let's talk about a 2009 550 at a retail value of about $61,000 US. Now, a 2009, which this is not, but a 2009 is only worth about $8,000. There's lots of examples for about $8,000, $9,000 all over autotrader.com. You can find them everywhere. That yields an average value of 16% after 10 years of owning a 5 Series, a 550. Brutal, 16%. How about a 2014, which is only 5 years off of this? So just out of warranty, 5 years, what are you going to expect for a value? That's when you typically see them fall off the cliff for value because warranty's gone. Well, a 2014 550 was about $64,000 US. And now in the Auto Trader, you can find lots of examples for about $15,000. What does that mean? 25% retention value on a good day is all you're going to get out of it after 5 years. So when the warranty runs out, this car is only worth 25% of its original value. That is a damaging blow. Like I said, firstborn, secondborn, whatever you want to say, it's a huge expense to own a 550. And so the drum roll, everybody, I'm sure you'd love to know what the third vehicle for losing mass depreciation value in the BMW world goes to the beautiful i8. That's right, that's their supercar. That is their hybrid supercar that matches up a 3-cylinder engine with a hybrid electric motor and batteries, of course. Now the problem with that is BMW is great at their conventional designs, and an i8, it does a great job for trying to be the innovation moving forward, creating things that supercars never were. And with the i8, BMW's doing things that have never been done before, create an efficient supercar. But unfortunately with that, there is an expectation of failure. Now they're a beautiful vehicle, they perform exceptionally well, and the economy is there. Now naturally there's been reports on issues with the i8 already, no shortage as you would expect. It's anything mechanical can go, and of course electric. When those batteries go or the electric motor goes, there will be issues, and it'll be a massive expense. But let's talk about the numbers, because that's really what we're talking about here. So they started out with the coupe, the i8 coupe, back in 2015, had a base MSRP of about $138,000 US, a very steep price tag, I might add. However, you can find these cars all over for 60 grand within the Auto Trader if you search far and high. Now that is a 43% retention value after only about 4 years. So in other words, you're just getting out of warranty and the car's worth less than half of its original value. Sure, it's a pretty car, it goes great, and it's a promise for the future, but it is unfortunately at a cost, and these cars are expected to depreciate like a rock. So again, as always, guys, make sure you hit that link over there. That's going to take you another great video review on reliability and BMWs. And if not, just hit the subscribe button. I'd love to hear from you guys. Love to see you again on the next one. Catch you soon. Bye-bye. Oh.